Welcome to the Community Dev Call on April 15th, 2020. I hope everybody is staying healthy out there. In this call, Regen Network does a brief share of our blockchain and registry application and science teams and our roadmap, and then we open it up for conversation to the community. So looking forward, I see a lot of familiar faces out there and excited to just dig in. So I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen and flip over here and present, and we'll get rolling. Again, we like to try to keep the sort of element of us speaking to 10 or 15 minutes and then open it up for conversation. I think there may be a lot of potential conversation as we're starting to get into some fun things, both in the testnet and on the application and smart contracting side of things. So we'll try to lead some space. So I'm going to hand it over to Corey, our product manager for the blockchain, to give a quick blockchain roadmap update.
Hey, yeah, keep this pretty brief. On so the protobuf migration is the main thing that we're working on right now. Trying to lead that over the finish line. It's currently shooting for 039 release by end of May. Our main point of coordination with that is Alex Bez, previously from All in Bits, who's now working at Interchamberlain. And so between him and Aaron, we're kind of like jointly leading this this release together. And the biggest kind of chunk of it is the protobuf migration. So the progress of that can be tracked in the meta issue linked here in the slides. In terms of updates, most of the transaction client migration is now complete. There's only one module of all of the, I think there's like maybe eight to 10 different modules within the Cosmos SDK. Only X upgrade needs to be migrated on that level. And I think in terms of state migration, there's just params, which is left, and I think that's being taken on by Alex or someone else in the community. So in terms of stuff that the Regen team is focused on, it's mostly on this transaction client migration side of things. And then obviously, like after this, if you go to the meta issue, there's a number of things around documentation that still has to get updated, and yeah, like all of the tutorials and whatnot. But one other thing that I'll say on the protobuf migration is we just had a meeting earlier this week with the larger Cosmos JavaScript client community to start that coordination process with them. So there's hopefully going to be a working group that emerges out of that group of development teams, likely including Looney, Cosmos Station, and a number of other client-side Cosmos development teams to try and coordinate how they handle the upcoming protobuf migration. So yeah, again, shooting for like end of May release for that. And one of the other things that we've been working on as part of this work, sort of alongside, which is a nice feature, is adding integration test capabilities natively to the Cosmos SDK. Currently, if you're running integration tests, you need to kind of spin up Gaia, which is the Cosmos Hub node, and be running stuff with Gaia D and Gaia CLI. So we're adding kind of like daemon and CLI binaries to the Cosmos SDK for the SIM app, which will allow for these integration tests to be run just kind of like bare bones within the SDK repo itself. The ecosystem service credit spec, which we were working on for quite some time, is now live and available for comments. That's linked also in the docs, and after this call, I will share that immediately in the Telegram. It's been circulated with folks in our open team community, which is the agricultural kind of collective grant that we're a part of, as well as some individual like other projects that are within the more kind of the ecosystem market side of things. So please take a look at that and provide feedback. That's open for feedback until I believe this time next week. And lastly, now that we've kind of got a little more clarity and can see the end of the road for this 039 release for the Cosmos SDK, we're starting to get a bit more clear about our mainnet launch roadmap. So for that, we're kind of in an internal phase right now of planning and outlining the month-by-month, sprint-by-sprint outline of what it will look like for us to get to the mainnet launch after 039 is out and live. And so yeah, hopefully more timelines and updates to share on that soon.
Cool, thanks, Corey. And I would just add one more piece, which is we have some job openings that we've started advertising and interviewing for. So if folks on the call are interested themselves or know folks, we've got 2 senior blockchain engineers, Golang and Rust language. So Corey, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, these roles are both, it's 2 headcount that we have available for more or less the same type of role, which is going to be joining basically the team that is contributing quite heavily in maintaining the Cosmos SDK, as well as spending some time on Regen specific blockchain activities. But so it's primarily a job focused on Cosmos SDK development. So anyone within that ecosystem is probably like in a great position to apply, but also anyone with a lot of production Golang experience who's got a cursory understanding of the blockchain space and an interest in sort of leveling up there would be great. Rust is definitely like an added bonus if you have experience in that. But yeah, the core competencies of this role in terms of what you'll be working on will be mostly Go work on the SDK. And I think
Will from the Regen team just chatted both the RFC doc, which was linked there, and the job description into the chat. If people are interested and want to share that, I'll also be tweeting about that, and you could retweet if folks want.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for adding that. Sorry, I forgot that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, just a couple Cosmosm updates. I'll do a couple, and then Anil, if you want to add anything. Phase 5 is underway. We had a little bit of a contract design call with some of the folks on this call yesterday. The update is that we're working on some actual real world Oracle integrations with the RSI, Quick Carbon, and PharmOS teams. We'll publish those public keys associated with those Oracle options if other folks want to use those for their prototype contracts. And also we're going to be adding an incentive line about, sort of development and integration with real or sort of pilot oracles, because you can use an arbitrary Oracle address and just sort of imagine it, but there's another layer of work if you're really trying to integrate a sort of a real world Oracle. So we're just going to add a little bit of bonus points for that. Anil, do you have anything to add to that testnet update?
Yeah, I think it is going good. I see a couple of PRs already. So people are, people have created some contracts and they have executed this payout transactions with centralized Oracle system. Maybe they are just using Oracle account. But yeah, if anyone are interested about creating an Oracle system, that would be great. And then you can just share the details in the Telegram channel, so all other folks can just try out your Oracle node.
Perfect. Thank you, Anil. Yeah. And if people have further questions about that, we can talk about that on this call, and we can also chat about it in the DVD channel. So feel free to chat into the Zoom chat if you'd like to talk about it, or into the DVD channel if you have questions. So some registry application layer updates. I'll be handling these updates for today. So the Regen registry app team is now onto the Kookaburra sprint. All the sprints are named after Australian outback animals. Working on finalizing Regen website redesign and registry app flow, because what we're trying to do is make it possible for people to purchase ecosystem service credits, like carbon credits, directly from the Regen website, which is really exciting. So there's some finalization there. And implement upgrades to the Impact Ag page. There's some database migrations that are being finalized right now. And then, yeah, the team is finalizing issuance and transfer of credits. The Regen Registry app is live right now. So if you want to click on the link there and go check it out, do. So it's exciting. Sort of one of the unique things about Regen Network is we're kind of like that full stack from layer one all the way to the end user. So we're excited to have some application progress and hopefully some cycles around the usability there. Science team updates, I'll keep this brief as well. We've been doing ongoing work and getting closer integrated with the field methodology group of Open Team. Pretty exciting stuff moving there. Obviously, it's sort of like a longer standard generation process, but lots of collaboration taking place. And the methodology work we've been doing in both sort of agroforestry and grazing is starting to sort of slowly get integrated with a broader community, which is really exciting. The grazing methodology, which we've been using for the Impact Ag credit, is kind of evolving from a soil carbon focus to a soil health focus. There'll be more updates on that later. And then there's a couple of applications that we're doing for grant-driven scientific development, one with our partner FiberShed, and the other that was submitted for the Ecosystem Service Marketplace Consortium with a group of partners from Open Team. We already submitted that last week, so that's out the door, and looking forward to seeing if we can get that contract to do some good. Essentially, for the blockchain folks, this is sort of Oracle development. This is around scientifically robust attestations of ecological state. So, as always, the next community development call is in 2 weeks. For those of you in the validator community, the next validator call is next Wednesday. And thank you so much. And we'll open up the floor for questions and comments. I'm going to just have a look at the chat here and stop sharing and just have a quick look and see if anybody's updated. So Eddie B, upcoming guidance on phase 5 challenge. So we just extended the deadline a little bit, so you have a full week to work on phase 5. So I think maybe that's why there's a little bit less PR activity. I'm not sure if you have more specific questions than that, but we're hoping people sort of dig into, you know, like thinking through real world Oracle. The minimum viable to achieve sort of success and get some points in this phase challenge is just an arbitrary Oracle address. So you don't have to bother about that, but we wanted to extend it a little bit for our partners in Open Team and other folks who wanted to take a crack at a real Oracle integration. So that's why there's a little bit more time, and maybe people are taking more time to work on that. I'm not sure. Anil, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, if you have any questions related to implementation, you can just ping in DVD channel or else official Kazam channel. Ethan is there to help, and then maybe community can help you.
Cool. Thank you, Anil. Other questions?
You said before, hi. Hi, Gregory.
Hi, Adriana. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So you said before that the registry app is going to be open soon, and people will be able to actually buy the credits directly from the website. Can you give us like a walkthrough of how this process, like an example of how this process will be?
Sure. Well, for now, I'll answer that quickly, and then maybe in 2 weeks or in a month, we can have the team that's been working on that actually do a little demo. But for now, I'll just do a very brief explanation. Right now, we're in sort of an agile, iterative design so that we're getting the product to fit the market. and then simultaneously we're doing the deeper infrastructure design on the blockchain. So right now those two have not yet been connected. So on the website, the website represents conversations and will represent projects, and the blockchain integration will come over time as we progress towards mainnet. So right now that's all happening sort of asynchronously. So there's not going to be a direct integration between the registry represented on the website and the blockchain. The basic function is there are credits that sort of a trusted party at this point that's verified around a particular farm, generating ecosystem service credits that people will be able to have a look at and buy. And just to be clear, the app is up, and we're not quite ready to be selling the credits on it, but that's coming very soon.
Mm-hmm. So
hopefully that answers your questions.
Yeah, so for example, if someone wants to participate, they will go on the website, register, find a party from which they would like to buy the credits from, and from that moment in time when the let's say the intention was created, that means that the team goes manually, takes the application from the website and connects the two parties that will be transactioning the credits. It is correct for now?
Essentially, I mean, we'll be running the transaction through. We'll have a credit card and sort of a bank payment integration, and you'll be able to just make the payment directly there on the website.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be one step more beyond what you just said, but yeah. But that's the idea. It's just a simple transaction that we're sort of facilitating there. Yeah.
And the price for the buying for the credits is like the same. I mean, is it like a unique price which they are buying those credits, or it depends on the party? Or
I'm not sure I follow the question.
So you said there will be a payment integration in the website where they'll be able to pay for the carbon credits directly on the party, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm actually going to hand over your question to Christian, who's sort of working directly on that. So keep asking your question, Adriana, and then Christian, you can answer directly.
Hi, Adriana.
Okay. So let's suppose I am a company who wants to buy the credits from the website, right? So what do I do? So I'm going on into the website. I'm selecting what number of credits that I want to buy, right?
At this moment, what it is just a form to let us know that you're interested. And then we would reach out to you to set up a call so that we could then have a one-to-one conversation about what it is that you're interested in, how many credits you'd like to buy, and then tell you more about the project. And then at this point, we're still a little bit in price discovery on what the correct price for these is. Yeah. So to answer the second part of your question, we may be selling the credits at different prices to different parties in the first round. For a number of different reasons. Some parties might want to come in at much higher dollar amounts, which might give them a discount, and other parties might just be more open and willing to pay more for regenerative soil health credit. So yeah, we're still trying to figure out where our price point's going to land on this product, since it is our first iteration on this.
But hopefully in the future, all this process will be able to be handled directly on the website in terms of integration, payments, cost per credit, right? So
yeah, I mean, I would say in the medium term, we hope that whole process that you just described would be on the website, and it'd be a single price. People go on and buy. And in the longer term, it'd be more like a marketplace or an exchange, where there's a certain amount of credits available, and there's kind of price discovery through a market mechanism. and people are in some sense bidding for these credits and able to purchase them and maybe even resell them back into the market.
I mean, what you're describing now, like the second part of the integration, is something which I actually had in mind in terms of how market and pricing will be handled in this particular area. Because one of my questions was so we have all these partners, right? But maybe those prices might be different depending on their project and on their sustainability. And
Right.
I mean, there are different factors that should be taken into consideration when someone sets up like a price for the service, right? So having a marketplace in which both buyers and sellers could, let's say, match themselves on the value of the product itself makes it more of an open market for this.
That's right. And I think that's especially true in the case of what we're doing, because in our system, we are working with individual farmers on individual projects, and every project has its own unique set of benefits and co-benefits and verification methodologies. It's definitely not the case that, where in other markets, one carbon credit equals one carbon credit equals one carbon credit. In this case, one farm is a very different situation than another farm. And so potentially, as you're describing, a single farm's credits might be much more valuable than another farm's credits, just because it's perceived to have more ecological value.
Yeah,
that's right.
True. Thank you, Christian.
Cool. Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Adriana, for your questions. Jorge was asking if we recorded yesterday's WASM call. The answer is yes. I'm probably just going to drop a public link to the Zoom recording in. Just by the way, we focused mostly on some specific use case around the integration of an Oracle from our partners at OpenTeam into the smart contract. And so there's a lot of, it's not like an instructional video in any sort of step-by-step way. So it may not be super useful to watch. It might be interesting, might not, but I will share the link to the recording. I don't think I'm going to put it up on YouTube because it's not like an instructional video, but people are welcome to look at that. And I think it'll give you insight, if you're interested, into the pretty exciting union of these two open source communities. The sort of Cosmos blockchain and the work that Regen Ledger is doing on that, and then the OpenTeam community, which is collecting on-farm data and storing it and sort of linking those two to create a smart contract that, issue ecosystem service contracts. There's also a smart contracting functionality that we're working on developing around data permissions and almost like data market and common stuff. So Jorge, hopefully that answers your question. I'll be putting that in the DVD channel directly after this call. Other questions from the community? I saw Martin hop on. Hi, Martin.
I have another one for Anil. So he said before that if we find the current challenge as being too difficult, or if we have questions, we should address them in the DVD channel. Should we put it there, or should we address them via DMs? Because we have some challenges that we're trying to overcome in the contract.
Yeah, I think you can directly address them in DVD channel. So there will be a lot of folks to help. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would echo that, Adriana. I would address it in the DVD channel because other people may have the same problem. And that way, by Anil and other folks helping you out, they can, other people may also be supported.
Yeah. Great.
Cool. Well, we're just coming up towards the 30-minute mark. As always, please engage and ask questions in the Telegram channels. If there's no further questions, we'll wrap the call up. super grateful to have all of you in our community. And oh, it looks like Martine just came off of mute. I'll let you, if you've got a question.
Yes, I had connections on and off. Thanks, Gregory. I just had two questions because I unfortunately missed the first part of the call. On the credit RFC, I left some comments there and wanted to just touch base on next steps. You might have said that and I missed it. And then in regards to registry layer, next steps on that. Happy to follow up on those two fronts. And so just keep me posted. And then we are launching the Collabothon for the year next week. So I'd love to follow up with you, Gregory. Love to have you maybe join a panel. And then maybe we can come up with some of the open source projects that could also be put to the community out there as well. But just for everyone to follow up, I'm happy to send a link. We have a series of open climate dialogues starting on Wednesday, two a week, with different speakers, negotiators, carbon credit experts, things like that. So it'd be great to kind of bounce back with that with the community.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to support. Happy to be on a panel. Let's schedule a call to do sort of an in-depth about each of those items. And please feel free to share in the Telegram channels the details of the Collabothon in case people would like to participate. And let's organize how we can support the Collabothon.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, always it's a stretch with limited resources, but we'd love to be as involved as we can. So thanks.
Great. And then look forward to follow-ups on the RFC and the registry.
And the registry, yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, I'll make some response to your direct comments in the document. I just wanted to give a little bit of time to see if other people would chime in as well. But yeah, no, they were all definitely good and valid questions. And I think maybe we'll have a little bit of discussion on the doc, and then if it makes sense to have a longer in-depth conversation over the phone, we can set that up too.
Yeah. I mean, I thought so the main comment that I had there was around credits and ecosystem credits that are non-fungible, and they need to not be fungible because they have to be part of a national baseline, but they need to be issued, but they can't be transferred. So anyways, there's a specific kind of case that is worth talking. Yeah, I mean, fungible just means whether it's represented as a like something that is divisible or not, is what we mean by that. So like it's a number that 2 can be added to 2 and you get 4 and stuff. That doesn't really, like the retiring functionality should cover if your use case, if you're trying to restrict transferability, no? Or yeah, I mean, I think that we could do a bit of an exploration on that. Cool. That I think it kind of can sprout into interesting conversations around how to structure the process. But yeah, we could pick that up in maybe a working group or something more specific.
I think we should just just plan a working group at a time, you know, in the next week or 2, and invite other people and like go in detail over that and sort of think about it and digest your feedback and have some conversation. And maybe Corey, we should record that and sort of like attach it in some way to sort of the ongoing conversation and sort of share back to Open Team as well. Cool.
Great.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and stay healthy. And we'll see you on the interwebs.
Yep. And happy Easter for those who did not have it yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Happy
Bye-bye,
Easter.
everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.